Information Technology departments of the Telangana government. I request Matt to please hand over sapling. I think for those of us in Hyderabad, Shri Jayesh Ranjan doesn't need any introduction. Very well accomplished, IAS, MBA, multiple accolades to his credit. And I really want to thank him for the work he's doing with the ministry and with Minister K.D. Ramarao Garu, that the state of Telangana has become one of the most business-friendly states for the high-tech industry, and has put Hyderabad on the world map, and hence Silicon Labs chose Hyderabad over Bangalore and other competing locations. So thank you. So with that, I would like to hand over to our CEO, Matt Johnson, to say a few words to the audience here. Matt, over to you.
Everybody. Really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for being here. This is a really exciting day for us. If you step back and look at the big picture, Silicon Labs is the largest company in the world focused on the IoT wireless space. And we do that by really providing complete solutions for our industry and our space. We provide the hardware, the software, the development tools, the support and the know-how to connect devices to the edge of the network, to digitize, to bring intelligence and smarts to the edge of the network. This is what we do as a company. And we do that by providing the industry's leading, unparalleled breadth, depth, and focus in what we do. And when I say breadth, I'm talking about the most broad wireless technology support in the industry, the largest ecosystem support in the industry, and the broadest market support in the industry. So that means we support literally tens of thousands of customers and thousands of applications in our space. And we do that with breadth of technology, breadth of knowledge in our space, depth of knowledge in our space that's unparalleled as well. We invented a lot of these technologies that we support. So because of that, we're able to provide industry-leading performance from a wireless perspective, leading battery life, leading security, leading machine learning, and leading ease of use. Because to make it easy, you have to understand the space. So we have that breadth, we have that depth, and last but not least, we have that focus that matters so much. This is all that we do and are focused on because we want to capture this opportunity that's unparalleled in our industry. And that opportunity I'm talking about is connecting devices. If you look at the opportunity that we see, it used to be discussed in tens of billions, and now it's hundreds of billions. And now we're talking about trillions of connected devices globally that we want to capture that opportunity. We want to drive and lead that to make that happen. And when you think about what that'll bring from an economic perspective and from a societal perspective, it's so exciting and such a meaningful mission to be part of. And this site, this team, plays an integral role in us capturing that opportunity. This site, our vision is to be the leader in IoT wireless in the region and our Wi-Fi center of excellence. So if we're going to capture and maximize that opportunity that's unparalleled in our industry, this site is going to be right at the core of that and an integral part of that mission, which is incredibly exciting. One of our values as a company is to foster hire, foster, and empower great talent. This site is an extension of that philosophy, right? We've grown from 200 to over 500 in the last couple of years. Our vision is to triple that in the next few years moving forward. And the only way we can do that and capture that opportunity I mentioned is with just empowered innovators who believe in what we're doing. And I believe that this site has the potential to do that, and that's incredibly exciting. So, last but not least, we are absolutely honored as a company to be part of this community, to be part of an area with such rich history of innovation, to have such a rich talent base, and to be part of the community, to be able to give and participate in the community that we live and work in. It's just an incredible honor. So this is a big milestone today for this team, for this site, but it's also a huge milestone for us as a company, and we're incredibly excited by that. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Now I would like to invite Shri Jayesh Ranjan to say a few words to us. Jayesh.
Thank you very much, Manish, Matt, Mr. Venkatesh, Manish, all the senior leaders who are here from Silicon Lab, staff members. First of all, my congratulations on my own behalf and also on behalf of Mr. K.T. Ramarao, Minister for IT, who till morning was primed to come here. But in the morning he has been asked to stay back to attend to some other important function. He was very, very eager to come here and look for him, see for himself what kind of new advancements are happening in this world. So I'm sure when I tell him about my own experiences, he'll be very, very pleased. So congratulations first of all on setting up your new office here. Also for your amazing successes over the last few years. In fact, I was sharing this with them earlier that many years ago I had actually been to the offices of Red Pine, but it was in a different building. And he had, Venkat had shown me some of those activities which were happening there, some of the products that he was working on. And I remember now it also brings back another interesting memory. I forget the name of the Japanese investor who was there that day. One of the very eminent Japanese investors who is into hardware and new technologies, he was visiting him. That was the occasion I was also asked to come and meet him. And he was equally impressed. He must have seen hundreds of such facilities across the world. But I could notice in his eyes the excitement, the sheer pleasure of seeing something new being created there. And then subsequently when I was in the US, Venkat had invited me to the Red Pine office at Santa Clara, and I remember spending about almost a couple of hours there, and I was very impressed. Something flashes back in my mind again, which is very impressive. The whole wall was full of patents, and he was telling me that while we hear about Intels and others of the world, but much more significant work is happening in this office, and he showed to me how these patents are the examples of that. So very, very impressed that the same momentum is continued in this new avatar after Silicon Labs have taken over Red Pine. It has got a chance to establish its footprint in Hyderabad, and pleased to learn that you have ramped up from 200 to 500, but much more music to my ears is that you are planning to triple it, hopefully in the next 2-3 years, which is amazing. But what I would like to mention in fact, I really appreciated the last point which Matt mentioned, that you would like to become a part of the community, and that is something which we in the government feel very, very passionately about. I mean, hundreds of IT companies keep establishing new offices here, become a part of the Hyderabad IT story, but our effort on behalf of the government is how easily they get integrated into the larger community, how do they contribute to the enrichment of that community, and of course how do they benefit from being in that community. So I'd like to share a few thoughts with all of you. Obviously, if you are planning to ramp up from 500 to 1500 and maintain the same quality of work, because I just saw your labs and some of the products whose, you have powered some of those amazing products, etc., in terms of longer battery lives, in terms of better performance efficiencies, etc. Obviously, it requires the best possible talent. And in Hyderabad, in Telangana, this is one responsibility which we as the government take very, very seriously. So, Venkatesh Garu would know this, of course, but I would like to explain this to everyone, that for about 5 years now, we have identified VLSI as a very, very important high priority sector. We have started conducting capacity building programs for young students, people who are about to complete their formal engineering education, who are looking at getting into this space, but they require some finishing. So for the last 3 years, actually we started it just when COVID was, all these restrictions were beginning to roll in. So a couple of batches were done completely online, but I guess we are now moving into a face-to-face kind of a session. So some very important VLSI programs have been designed with the help of the industry. Some of the best-known VLSI companies also have presence in Hyderabad. Companies like Moschip and Xilinx and AMD, etc. And all of them have given their tools, their licenses, absolutely free of cost for the students to practice, the students to pick up VLSI skills. And we want to do more and more. In fact, I remember when we had started the program, I had conducted an online session just to expose students on what this world entails, what kind of career opportunities are there. And there was an overwhelming response, which had also led us to rework our strategy to accommodate more batches, more number of students, etc. So there's a huge appetite for people to come into this space, and if all of you are able to contribute to the way these courses need to be designed based on your requirements. Eventually, these are not academic kind of courses. These are extremely tailored to the needs of the industries. And if you tell us that these are the skill sets we look for in the employees, we will ensure that these skill sets are available to with the students. And right on day one, when they are employed by you, you can put them on a real life project and they should be able to deliver. The other facet which we also feel very strong about is about innovation. See, these are areas, and we saw examples upstairs when we saw the labs, that amazing amount of innovation is possible and is actually happening. You are of course driving it. But there are a large number of people, startups, entrepreneurs, freelancers, who have their own ideas. They may not be a part of Silicon Labs formally, but they are also doing similar work, or they intend to do something which is equally important, investing, etc. So how do we work with them? How do you bring them into your own corporate innovation programs? And again, I'm happy to share with you that we have recently got some space not very far from here, where we want to set up a dedicated incubator for the VLSI startups, etc. So, and obviously the success of these kind of incubators is determined to a large extent by the kind of corporate partnership and corporate support and that mentoring, etc., which your senior engineers and your experts can provide. So, do look up that possibility also, because that will of course benefit the startups much more than you do. But sometimes you also get someone look at some problem that you may be facing over a long period of time, look at it from a new perspective, from an outsider's perspective. And I have seen this happen. Many corporates in Hyderabad, after they have run innovation challenges amongst startups, many of them have told us that some very long persisting problem got a solution, a practical implementable solution through some startup who kind of pointed them in the right direction. So again, that is something which Silicon Labs must really kind of do. And I'll introduce our VLSI colleagues who handle these skilling programs, innovation programs to you. So Mr. Venkatesh Garu knows them, but I'll also bring them, I'll ask them to come and get introduced to you. The other important bit is about the applications of wireless IoT. We have seen some in the lab. I did ask about who are the clients who are going to use some of these, and we know some of your clients who are of course very, very important. But there is a tremendous amount of opportunity in India in particular, and also in Telangana, of actually solving real life problems using IoT, using sensors, and this is something which again is core to our technology DNA. We feel that no technology is worth it unless it is able to solve some pressing problems which the most common person faces. And keeping this philosophy in mind, we have started encouraging IoT applications and applications of other emerging technologies in various other verticals. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So many of you would know this, that agriculture is one sector which supports the largest number of livelihoods in the rural areas. But there are lots of inefficiencies in agriculture, the way it is practiced today. Farmers lose out on production, lose out on productivity, lose out on incomes due to various gaps in their methodology. And we have started working on it very seriously for the last approximately, let us say, 3 years, 3.5 years. And we have found some very, very useful solutions, IoT-driven solutions. For example, there is a concept in agriculture which is called precision agriculture. But to implement precision agriculture, you need to have again precise data points about moisture, about humidity, about alkalinity, and so on and so forth, about the soil, about the weather. And we have found that there are devices which can capture all these very accurately, real time. And if that information is fed into the scientists' dashboards, they are able to give precise recommendations. And just by following simple precision practices in their